everyone, I'm Jason Mayo, Norfolk's official food and drink ambassador, and I am your ONON or your One Novel, One Norfolk video person of the month. And this month, the book that we're doing is the Norfolk Cookbook, the official Norfolk Cookbook. It's filled with amazing recipes created by farmers in the county to really highlight all that they have to offer. Today, we are going to do a recipe that's on page 80. So if you turn to page 80, you're going to see the melt in your mouth blueberry cake. Yes, we're making cake. It's that time of year. It's fall. You know you might be going to a Thanksgiving celebration or going to someone's house for a dinner, and this is the perfect thing to bring. Super easy. As you can see, my kitchen is a hot mess right now, but I still have enough room and enough time to make this, so I think you're really going to like it. So let's get started. We're going to start by creaming half a pound of butter and half a pound of sugar. Just put those in a bowl. Take your mixer. Give me a second. I'm just going to cream this a little bit more, and we'll make that happen. Okay, as you can see, nice and smooth here. We're going to add some salt and some vanilla. So I'm just going to eyeball this for vanilla. I like a little bit extra, but you know, that's me. Follow the recipe if you're not so adventurous. And we're just going to use a quarter of a teaspoon of salt. So that's a good pinch. All right. And then we're going to separate some eggs here. So we're going to reserve the whites into this bowl here. I'm just going to separate. Easiest thing I find, if you're the shell to shell person, you can pass it shell to shell until your yolks are pretty clean and separated, so you don't see a lot of that white hanging over. We just want that in here. We don't want that in our beautiful mixture. Boom, there we go. We'll add that yolk in there. Another way you can do it, if you're comfortable, I don't love the shell to shell. I find it a little slow. I just like to use my hand and then just jiggle it out. And then you'll just pass it off from one hand to the next. Instead of the shell, you're using your hand. Your hands are obviously clean. It's that, trust me. Now, if any time, your hands are definitely clean. You've probably washed them and sanitized them a ton of times today. So, definitely a good thing. Give those hands a wash after. And then we're just going to continue to mix these together. We're just going to mix it in. Give it a stir. And then we're going to use our mixer again and just finish this up. Scrape your sides. So what we're going to do at this point is we have a 1.5 cups of flour. I've just used all-purpose here. Also in here is a teaspoon of baking powder. That's going to let us have some rise in the cake. And we're going to alternate this into our mixture with 1/3 of a cup of milk. Now I'm using a milk alternative, so I am using almond milk. So if that's something that you're looking at, definitely a possibility. Oat milk also works really well. And soon in Norfolk, we're going to have a place that makes those for us. So isn't that great? You're going to be able to get a lot more things locally. So I'm going to alternate little flour, little milk after a little bit, and then keep beating it. And I'll be right back with that mixture. If you just watch, you'll see it happen. Alternating while still mixing. We're just going to finish up this last bit by hand. You can just go and finish the last bit by hand. You don't have to use a mixer for that part. I like to do it because it makes it consistent. You could also do it in a KitchenAid if you wanted to. but I'm going to use the KitchenAid for this next part. So what we're going to do to make this cake extra fluffy and extra light is we are going to use those egg yolks, or sorry, those egg whites, and we're going to mix them with some sugar, 1/3 cup. We're just going to pour the sugar in here, just a little bit. And we're going to get these going. We're going to beat these till they get nice and soft peaks, then we're going to add the rest of the sugar, okay? So while those egg whites are beating and getting to soft peak stage, which, can take a few minutes, what we're going to do is, this recipe calls for blueberries. Well, here's the thing. It's not really blueberry season. We've just gotten out of blueberry season. And what I think is really important for you to do, especially in this county because we have so many opportunities to do so, is to use what's fresh and what's available, what's seasonal at the time. And what better thing to use than beautiful Norfolk County apples. Now is a perfect time for apples. You could use blueberries if it was in season. Also, you could grab some wonderful frozen blueberries anytime from Blueberry Hill. Apples right now, great orchards around, Beavers, Suncrest, wonderful people that you can go get apples from. Go get them from the apple place. If it's in the summer, you could do strawberries, peaches, all kinds of great things. And it's just exact replacement. 1.5 cups for whatever you're going to do. Okay? So I'm going to show you. We got some soft peak going on here. Just a little soft peak, nothing crazy. It's just holding. So we're going to add the rest of the sugar and we're going to keep beating that till it's stiff peak. So probably another couple of minutes. And while we do that, I'll cut those apples like I said I was going to. I like to keep the skin on my apples. I think it just adds a bit of texture. I really like how it turns out. I find it caramelizes a little. It's really nice. We're just going to rough chop these. So just probably into pieces like this. You want bite-sized pieces. They are going to break down while you bake them. We're going to put them in here. Now, it doesn't call for it, but if you wanted to, you could add apple pie spices. So you could add some cinnamon. You could add some nutmeg. You could add some cloves. This would actually also be a really cool recipe to make with some pickled pumpkin. You could almost make it like a pumpkin spice kind of deal. And that would be really great as well. So once we've got the apples in here, like I said, 1.5 cups, we're going to just fold in those beaten egg whites. So we've almost made basically a meringue. We're going to fold that in to lighten it up. So we're definitely at stiff peak now. I'll show you what that looks like. It's just like this, stiff peak. It's nice and shiny and glossy. And we're just going to fold that in. So we're going to mix these apples in first with our batter. Meanwhile, while you've been doing all this, preheat your oven to 350. It is the first instructions in there. I've got mine going, so we're good. And then we're just going to add these egg whites in slowly. We'll just do a scoop at a time. We're just going to get it nice and incorporated. You don't want to over mix because otherwise it'll kind of deflate those egg whites. So you don't really want to over mix that. Okay? So we're just going to go a little bit at a time. We're just going to fold that in. So when I say fold, it's very much that Schitt's Creek moment where you're just folding. So literally, you take the spoon, if you want to see, and you're just pushing it around, right? I love that scene. Really like, what do you mean? Fold in the cheese, If you get me, you're probably laughing right now. If you don't, definitely give it a watch. We'll do a little bit more. And once we've got them all folded in, it will be light. And And then we're going to pour it into a greased 8x8. So we'll just keep going here. Definitely Norfolk County apples are one of my favorite things. And it is that time of year too where, you know, it's fair time, so there's candy apples, caramel apples, apple cider, you know, spiced apple cider. It was the perfect replacement for me, I thought. I saw blueberries, but I knew apples were winning my heart, and I wanted to show you how easy it is to take a recipe and just slightly alter it, and it's still going to turn out amazing. So I'm almost done here. See how easy this is? We're just going to fold a little bit more. See how nice and smooth that batter is? Just like this. Hopefully you can see it. I know it's a little bright in here. Apologies. Not the studio lighting I'm used to. No. But this looks perfect. A great consistency. Just nice and smooth. And we're just going to put that in a pan. And then we're going to pop that into the oven. And really super easy ingredients that you would definitely have at home. You know? Milk, sugar, eggs, butter, flour, you know? Regular things, but just made in a little bit of a different way, especially using those egg whites to kind of make it smooth and airy. So we're just going to flatten this down, spread it into our pan, and then we're going to let this cook for 50 minutes, and we'll come back and I'll show you what that looks like. Perfect. And here we go. Make sure you set a timer too. We'll be right back. Hey everyone, I'm back. It's been 50 minutes. In my 50 minutes, I'm going to tell you what I do. It was definitely what my mom always taught me. When you're done cooking, you got a sink full of hot soapy water. You do those dishes right away. No point in waiting. So I definitely did my dishes. You could have hopefully picked up a great book and read a couple chapters while you were waiting. The library's got tons. You know, they're definitely a place to visit. So the cake is done. She's golden brown on top. Looks beautiful. We do the cake test, which means you take a toothpick, or in this case a skewer, poke it in the center. If it comes out clean, which it does, you're good to go. Let your cake rest and cool down before you want to cut it and serve it. Delicious with some ice cream. If you're looking for a recipe in the book to pair it with, I would suggest the mini meatloafs. One of my favorites for sure. And there's a bunch of salads in here you could pair that with. Make yourself a full meal. I really hope you've enjoyed this video. I really hope you give this cookbook a chance. Definitely sign it out from the library. If you have your own copy, amazing. Please make sure you use it often. Use as many Norfolk ingredients as you can every time you're cooking. The farmers and the people in this area who make this food really work hard so that you have the best products you can. You know what? Make it yourself. Go grab some amazing local takeout. Either way, you can enjoy that with a book. You know, curl up, eat, read. One of my favorite things to do is to kind of sit in a nice comfy chair, have a nice delicious snack while I'm reading. And those are some beautiful times, and especially now that it's sweater weather, it's really the perfect time to cozy up inside with a book and some tasty food and have a great fall. Thanks for joining me, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you read, make sure you support Norfolk, and we'll see you flavor.